in this.
Sorry.
I was banking on that.
I know. Oh,
Um,
there's too many videos out there already. It doesn't matter.
Right. I'm going to start by saying I'm expecting a phone call that I have to take. If it comes, my apologies. I'm going to step out and leave to the rest of these wonderful people to fill in for me, and everybody went, what? Anyway, I apologize if I have to step out, but it's important. It is. So let's get started. We're going to talk about, mostly talk about fundraising today, kind of the do's and don'ts and ins and outs of fundraising. And a lot of you are already off to the races with your fundraising and working hard on it and banking lots of money. Good job. Keep going. Of course, the best place to start, friends and family, right? And it doesn't matter. Every dollar is another step in the process. It doesn't really matter how much they give. Every little bit counts. Every little bit helps. Every little bit pushes us closer to that goal. So whether you have 100 friends give $1, 10 friends give $10, 20 friends give $5, you know, however you get there, your friends and family are a good resource for you. Social media works. As you know, I don't really do much with Twitter, so I can't really say a whole lot about how that works because I'm pretty ignorant about that. But on Facebook, I'm friends with a lot of my teammates, and what we will do is challenge each other on Facebook, and we'll say, okay, the next one, I'll post, you know, sometimes like on Emma's page, next one to give $50, the other one has to buy Starbucks. And so it's just a little challenge, and then she's got loyal friends, and I have a few loyal friends, and they try to help you beat the other person. I mean, they know they're doing it for a good cause, but they also try to help you beat them. And when you challenge, you put the link up and give them a way to just click and donate, and it's really easy. And I found that to be pretty effective. Have to buy a lot of Starbucks, but it works. Check with your local business owners for sponsorship. We all know people, we all have connections, other people don't. You probably were at the captain's meeting when Kevin came in and talked about the sponsorship packet, and you probably in your emails about 2 minutes ago got this. We're emailing this packet out to you. This is a really good resource for sponsorship. And that sponsorship is where the big dollars are, of course. We have the $100 business card sponsorship. They end up in our program. We have the $250 business card. They end up in the business card. And on a banner, we're going to have a banner this year that has all of our sponsors on it. So for $250, they end up on the banner. And in the program, for $500, they can sponsor a table in the survivor tent. Great way to get their name on display is to, hey, come on in, is to sponsor a table in the survivor tent. And then the $1,000 on up sponsors are listed in here as well. I don't want to take the time to go through each one of them as to what they get, but you know, we get them some advertising. You can let them know. We usually have about 2,000, a little over 2,000 registered participants every year, about 100 teams, and we end up with somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000. 3,000 and 5,000, thank you, visitors to our event. So we get a lot of people there, and that's a lot of exposure for them. Minimum donation this year to get on the back of a t-shirt is $2,500, and if you've relayed with us before, you know that's a heck of an increase, and it's sort of, that's the price we're paying for being successful. We are a large relay, and so this is the sponsorship packet that we work with, being the size relay that we are. So 2,500 gets their name on the t-shirt, and I believe it's 5,000. I'd have to double check me, gets their logo on the back of the t-shirt. So some folks are, you know, some of the companies like Nadine had mentioned at one of our previous meetings, they have a budget for advertising or charitable giving, and it could go in either category for them. So it's a good way to give them some local exposure, because I know for me, when I see a business that has supported Relay for Life, and particularly, you know, the Chino Relay, I like to frequent that business and tell them, you know, thanks for your support. So-
If you do have questions on the sponsorship is going to come back the next captain's meeting and talk again about it. So if you have any questions, they'll be here to field them.
And it's kind of a thick packet, but there's a lot of good information in there. The sponsorship contracts, and feel free to copy whatever you need out of here and use it to your heart's content. So this is a good way to get the big dollars if you have those contacts. Pardon me. Use the Relay website and the dashboard. I think I mentioned before what I do is I email myself from the dashboard, and then from my personal email I send that out to the folks, and I take a minute to just kind of tweak each letter so that I make it personal to the person that I'm sending it to. Some of my clients are businesses, and so I will, you know, challenge them to support me to a higher degree than they did the previous year. I do their books, so they don't have any secrets. I know they can do it.
Yes, you do.
So, anyway, the dashboard is a really good tool. It's got some templates in there, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to make up your own letter. They'll help you. And you'll read it and, you know, get some ideas like, oh, that's good. I don't want to say it that way. I'll change that. But it's a good place to start. So
Another reason to use the dashboard too is it fills in the cancer logo and the pictures that
Right.
when you get an email from the
Right.
Cancer Society, the dashboard will do that.
Website.
Yep.
There's a spot on the dashboard where you can sync all of your emails up to that though, like from your
Right.
phone if you go
Yep.
on, you can do that.
yeah, and you can sync with Facebook from the dashboard too, so that you know, when people make a donation to you, it posts to your Facebook page so people
I
can
like
see
that.
that you're making progress towards your goal. And you guys probably do what I do. I set my goal at whatever it is. I think it's going to be, you know, maybe 500 or 1,000. And when I hit that, I go in and move it back a little bit further because I don't want people going, oh, you don't need anything. You made your goal.
That's
So-
why I moved mine up.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because they do, they think you
Right.
don't need it.
Exactly. So I always go in. As soon as I hit my goal, I go move it. It's not very fulfilling, but it is a nice challenge. So it's kind of fun to push yourself that way. So we'll go on, and we're saying, you know, to be genuine. I told you guys before, and I probably don't need me to repeat how important it is to make your approach personal. When I tell you my story, it makes more of an impact if I'm just kind of saying, I'm just a volunteer and I'm raising money and gee, don't you want to help me? But if I tell you my story, it draws you in, and it compels you at least to have some compassion, and you might dig a little deeper than you might otherwise. So make your story personal and share it. Be genuine. Don't make stuff up. If it's not true, don't say it. Be genuine and truthful. And people will respond to you, and they may not respond to you this year. You go back again next year and you go, hey, remember me? I know you couldn't help me last year, but how about this year? And eventually you wear them down.
They see your loyalty. They see your
Right.
trust and loyalty that you keep doing it, you still feel the same way.
And I find it's far more successful if I'm in a business, if I've made a purchase and I have their shopping bag in my hand, then I have that conversation. Or I'm at a restaurant and I've eaten and paid my bill, then I have that conversation and say, you know what, I have a way you guys could help us. And if they're busy, don't bother them right then. We had lunch at a place on Saturday, and I told the gentleman, you know what, I think, I introduced myself. I said, I'm a volunteer with the American Cancer Society, and I think you and I can partner to a greater cause, but I know you're busy. I know you have guests that you need to acknowledge, and so here's my card. Can I have your card, and I will email you. And I very much intend to do that, and I'm hoping it will be successful. But he's got a face, and he knows that I was at least considerate enough to say, can't do it right now. I don't want to bother you right now, but we'll talk later, and you can give me a donation, and we'll both be happy. So if they ask you to come back, or oh, so-and-so's not here, I can't come back. Okay, when's a good time for me to come back? When are you not so busy? When is your manager here? To get a date and a time to come back and check with them if they ask you to come back and follow up. And then that way you're not going in and going in and going in and, oh, he's not here, oh, he's not here, oh, he's not. Yeah, that doesn't work for anybody. So ask them for a good time to come back. Be prepared that businesses have already been contacted. Some folks, at least Brown, have been busy already raising money since probably, what, February?
February that first.
Yeah. So just know that when you go, and some of you guys may have too, I just don't know it, I just know that Lisa did. That some of these businesses have already been contacted. And they may have given, they may give multiples, they may still give to you, they may not. They may say, oh, hey, sorry, so-and-so or another team was already here, and you just say, oh, thank you very much, we really appreciate it. We're kind of competitive and we do try to raise the most, but it all goes to the same place, and we sure appreciate your contribution. So, and they remember that kind of stuff, If you leave in a huff, they remember that kind of stuff too. So that's not a good approach. Just be sure if they tell you, even if the answer is no, thank you for your time, appreciate it. Excuse me. And just know that a lot of folks have already been contacted. Be gracious and supportive, same thing I just said. In your email that you're going to get tonight with this sponsorship packet is what we call our no contact list. We have some companies that are what we call National Corporate Team Partners, NCTP. Those are folks that partner with the American Cancer Society at the corporate level. They're given big bucks at the corporate level. So the American Cancer Society produces a list every year, and you'll get it in your email. If you don't, email.
Reply to that email.
Thank you. Reply to that email, and they'll get you that list.
That reply will go to Terry Moffett of sponsorship.
He's our sponsorship chair, and he'll get you that list. It's just a list of businesses that American Cancer Society says, please don't bother them at the local level, because when they partner with us at the corporate level, they agree to participate in a certain number of relays. It may not be in our community, it may be in another community, but they're participating already, so American Cancer Society asks us to back off, because they're already writing a pretty sizable check, and they're already participating. So when you see that list, just know those are folks that, if you patron them, certainly say thanks. But don't ask them for donations unless you know somebody that works there. I can't even remember. I'm sorry. Can I bump some of your water? Thank you. Well, let's say like Best Buy is one of those teams. Unless you happen to know somebody that works there that says, you know what, hey, my manager will give you a whatever for free. Although Best Buy is a team, so don't use them. I'm just using them as an example. Excuse me. So unless you have a personal contact and you know something's different, we ask you to leave those national corporate teams alone. Team pre-event fundraisers. Takes a lot of planning. You want to plan in advance to get the most participation. As you all know, if anything's going to be, what did my father-in-law used to say? Failure to plan is planning to fail. So decide what you want to do, what needs to be done to do it, delegate those tasks of who's going to do what. If you're going to do a 50-50 raffle at your event, make sure you got the raffle tickets. Make sure that you've thought well through everything and you have everything that you're going to need. Send us your flyer. Somebody's going to create a flyer for your fundraiser. Send it to us, Chino Relay for Life at Gmail, and we'll get your flyer up on Facebook and on our
website. And we send it to the Chino Champion. Whether they put it in or not, I don't know, because I don't get the Chino Champion, but I do send it to them.
Yeah, it's hard to get the Chino Champion when you live in Miraloma. So.
And bring your flyers into the captains and boot camp too. We have a table where we put, fundraising flyers out there so everyone can grab some.
Yeah, you'll note there's a Goodwill fundraiser and a casino night fundraiser. I don't know what else those
I wonder which team has those.
Yeah, which team? Might be mine.
Might be mine. That's okay.
Might be mine. We do ask you to take your flyers back with you though, because we don't have a whole lot of storage room. So if you put them out, just bring them back with you, and then bring them out, and you can put them out again at the following meeting. We ask for them 2 weeks in advance because we have a lot of teams. We're getting flyers from everybody. When we post a a flyer up on Facebook. We try to give you at least 24 hours of you being the only one up there, so that when people come to our page, they see you at the top of the page when your fundraiser is. So we try to space them based on when we get them, when the fundraiser is. You know, if you're that organized that we get it a month in advance, you're probably not going to go up right then. We'd like it a little bit closer to your event to try to help you be more successful. So just know that we are trying to be strategic about what time we post, what time, what day. We don't want to put you up on a Tuesday, because we put our meeting reminders up on Tuesdays, and we don't want our meeting reminder to push your fundraiser down. We want you to have as much success as you can. So just know we try to be as strategic. That's why we ask you for 2 weeks, so that we can help that fundraiser be as successful as we can. Schedule your team to be at your own fundraiser. Let them know you expect them to be there. They don't have to work it. Maybe maybe you're having a bunco night or a bingo night or ice cream social, and you have enough people to work it, and you're lucky enough that you don't need your team to work it. Ask them to participate. Buy a ticket, join in. Or whatever, you do in a car wash, ask them to bring their car. Whatever it is, ask your team to participate fully. You have folks that are working it, but you also need folks to participate in it too. And ask them to bring their friends. Challenge your team. Okay, everybody bring at least 2 people to this fundraiser.
When they see it up on the Facebook, on the website, have them share it on their Facebook, so it gets more exposure that way too.
Right. Yeah. When you're not limited to waiting for us to post it. You guys can post it on your own Facebook page and share away, and ask your friends to share away as well. Because the more people that see it, the more likely you'll have folks attending your fundraiser. The calendar that we have, put your event on the calendar so that everybody sees what you're doing. And I know that there are people who believe so strongly in Relay, they will plan their weekends around what fundraisers are going on, because they want to participate. Their entertainment dollar is spent on supporting Relay. So I know that they are looking at the calendar to see what's going on. So use the calendar. That will help you see what other people are doing. It will help you find the best time to schedule. You won't be in so much competition. We won't have 5 bunco nights or bunco games on one night.
Which we have done.
We did. We had a problem with that last year, and everybody's going, which one do I go to? And had they been spread out, they probably all would have gone to all of them. So what we try to do is give you guys the sort of a competitive edge, if you will, so you know when to schedule your fundraisers. So use that calendar. And you're not stuck with just one fundraiser. Whatever it is works for you guys, that's what you do. Our team, Papa Tapia, generally at Christmas time, they make tamales and sell tamales. That works for them. And of course, they do kind of stuff throughout the year. I know the captains from our team last year went to Barnes & Noble, and we wrapped Christmas gifts. And it was kind of fun hanging out with each other, and just, had a fun evening, and at the same time, we made a couple bucks.
Fundraiser Friday.
Yeah, Lisa, talk about your fundraiser Fridays.
Okay.
I love it.
Fundraiser Friday, basically that's what it is. Every Friday I make treats and take them to work. I let everybody know via email what I'm going to bring in and how much I'm selling it for. And
how good they are.
Nadia and I work together, so she knows how good they are. But basically that's what I do. I just make something yummy, I take it in, and they buy it, and that's how I raise money. And they know what the money is for and why I'm doing it. So it works out really well. If you have enough people at your job, that you can take that to and stuff, it works out really well. And then they start to expect it. So it becomes great.
I've seen some of the pictures. It made me really wish I worked with her until it came time to do the job part.
Yeah.
I just want the dessert part.
She just wants the dessert.
I do. I have no shame, I'll tell you that. Origami Owl is one of the popular fundraisers people are doing. A lot of folks that do Origami Owl will do it and do a percentage back for you. Ice cream parties, ice cream socials, spaghetti dinners, car washes, bunco, whatever you and your team have the resources to put together. I know there's a team that does a bingo night, and they go to one of the casinos and they get the bingo cards donated. So you know, it's certainly an option. They had to drive out there. So by box, I mean Chino. There are resources out there. I don't think I'm telling tales.
There's a lot of surrounding cities that don't have a relay.
Right.
That they piggyback off of.
Right, Montclair
Exactly.
is one of those cities. Montclair had a relay and it folded, not last year, the year before. Last year was the first year they didn't have one, so, as far as I'm concerned.
Or even Ontario, they don't have one.
They had one last winter.
They have a small one?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, they have a small one.
And maybe they
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, yeah, Ontario has one, Upland has one. A lot of the communities around here have one. Montclair is the one that I know folded. So, and some of their folks came and joined us, and that was pretty exciting, so. Yeah, so, you know, think outside the box, of what your fundraisers can be. I won't tell you exactly what we did, but we thought as far as Las Vegas, and it worked for us. So, I'm safe with that, right? Okay. So, I'm just gonna say you probably wanna come to our casino night to see what it is. I have no shame, none, not an ounce. Banking money. You all probably have already had your first bank night experience. And if you haven't, it's a sight to behold, right? We bring our money in. We have these team accounting sheets. I'm gonna go over with them with you because inevitably, what happens is money gets turned in and you call us and say, that's not where I asked you to put it. So I want to spend a couple minutes thinking about, or talking about this team accounting sheet because this is a tool you use to communicate with the folks in the bank that tells the folks in the bank where to put the money, okay? So, and we have these. If you need more of these, let us know. I don't think we have any out, but we'll get some out for you.
Oh, you're still there?
No, they're out.
Okay, or they're out, thank you. So what it is, you're gonna put your team name and your captain name up here.
I'm gonna pass them out.
And
Great
that's it.
idea.
That's a great
You
idea.
know,
Thank
visual
you.
is very
That
important.
way they can see it while you're.
Yep.
I don't need any, I got like 4 of them.
Okay.
I like one, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome.
It's got a little bit of an example there, but your team members are raising money. They're busy raising their $100, and hopefully a lot of them are going over that. So when they give you their money, it's pretty clear that, you know, Sally Smith banked $100, and it goes on here. I don't have my glasses. Sally Smith, donor name. Don't worry about that. It's not important. Because she probably has multiple donors. Huh?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I think you need to hold it across the room for me. What we do need to know specifically is if it's a luminaria, because they'll double check that against the luminaria forms you're turning in with them, and then they'll initial the forms, hand them back to you, so you can go turn them into Alma and get your bags. So don't worry about the donor name. That's not important. The team member registration, if it's a registration fee, which we don't have anymore, so don't worry about that. Team member donations, luminaria, and then you have the grand total. So you're gonna put Sally Smith, let's say she's banking $100, 10 of it is luminaria, so you're gonna put 10 in luminaria and 90 in team member donations, okay? And then she's gonna get credit for the $100, okay? Let's say you had a big fundraiser and you brought in $1,000 and you had 7 people work it. You could put there's 7 names down here to the side, and you can check this box over here at the far right that says divide equally.
They still don't.
They said don't.
No, I turned in, last week I did 150 for one of the fundraisers that I did. And the one that I had all filled out, I couldn't find it. So I just filled it out real quick, and she's like, that's okay, we'll just write on there, divide evenly amongst the whole team, which would have been like $11 and something amongst everybody, but still. It just went in as a team donation, so it didn't go to anybody's bank, it's just sitting there like, it
One
was
lump
just, yeah,
sum.
one lump sum.
When that happens, let us know, and we can try to get that fixed for you.
Okay, yeah, because I got an email last night, you got this much money, blah, 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 and I'm like,
Send it to us and we'll try to get that fixed for you.
Okay.
And get it allocated the way you want it to. That's why it's important to have 2 copies. You keep a copy, you give us a copy. And if you can get us this copy when you're asking us to fix it, then we'll know exactly what we're trying to fix for you.
oh yeah, I have it in my car.
Okay.
So I have a question, so is that how you should do it if you do have a team fundraiser? Just the people that work, or do you do it under the full team?
It is up to you how you want to do it. And we came up with a fairly convoluted way. We went, wait. There's a harder way to figure out how we want to do it as a team. And it's just what we have chosen to do as a team. And we're trying it this year. We're going to see how it works. And we call it the 50-30-20. If you sell a ticket to the event, 50% of the proceeds goes towards you. You get the credit.
Of that ticket.
Of that ticket.
you sell.
Right. So if you work the event, everybody who works the event is going to split 30% of all the tickets. So, excuse me, and then 20%, we use that to fund our next fundraiser. If we need to buy something or pay for something in order to have the fundraiser, we use that to pay for what's coming up next. So let's say, for example, and I'm not good at math, so just go with me on this one. Let's say Mary sold $100 worth of tickets. She's going to get $50 credit for her. And let's say Lisa and I worked that event.
And didn't sell any tickets?
Didn't sell any tickets because we suck like that. So,
Because we win it?
I'm sorry, we didn't know anybody that would.
Oh, okay.
It's on video.
You know, we're gonna get flagged from certain words that you say online.
Probably.
So 30% each?
No,
No,
30%.
So
Oh,
Of
that's
the total
right.
tickets. So what we do is, okay, 30% would be $30. So we're gonna get $15 each
Gotcha.
for working the event. And then the $20 we set aside to go towards our next fundraiser. And there are certainly more easier ways to figure out how to do it, but we wanted to incentivize ticket sales, we wanted to incentivize participation in working the event, and we also had to find a way to fund the next fundraiser. So that's what we came up with. We'll let you know at the end of the year if it worked.
That also helps people raise their $100 if they're having trouble raising the 100. And, I just lost what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Well, and you can do a one for all for one. If we made $1,500, we're all splitting it, no matter what anybody did. So
And some teams just do it's all a team thing, but, raise your own 100. So it depends on how you wanna do it.
Well, and some of that tie-in, it has to do with ACS, as hopefully you all know, has a incentive program based on what we raise. So there are club levels. So some captains and some teams prefer that amounts get shared because individual team members want to work toward a certain club level where there is a ACS incentive prize associated with it. So that's really, it's part of just knowing your team, knowing what works for you and what you want in terms of, and some teams, they don't care about the incentives, so the money goes to the team. And other team members are interested in the incentives and would like, should communicate to the captains about what they would like. And if that's something you can do, you do it.
Yeah, and different team members have different reasons for participating on your team. Some of them are real competitive and they're going to run out and hustle every dollar they can. Some of them will say, you know what, I'm not really good at fundraising, but I will do any work you need me to do. So it's, you want to reward those folks that maybe don't have the community resources, but boy, they're willing to, hustle for you, in other ways. So we just had a Zumba-thon fundraiser, and it was pretty successful. I know one person on this entire planet that Zumbas, and she was busy, so I didn't sell not one ticket because I suck like that, because I don't know very many people.
Saying it again.
I know. That Zumba, so.
That would be flag 2.
Right. So I didn't get any credit for selling tickets, but I did go work the event. So, and as one of the captains, I quite frankly don't care if I get credit for working the event. I should be there as a captain, to to support my team and help my team out, so.
But that's because she's got more than $100. I'm also a captain and I do care because I don't have my 100. So it all depends on the person.
Exactly.
I want my shirt.
So really the answer is it's whatever works for
Right.
you and
It's all different.
whatever you have worked out for your team. And you can try it one way for this fundraiser and try it this way for another fundraiser and see.
When you, if you have cash, do we give it, do we bring
That's
it
why you
here
bring
to
it.
you?
That's when you
Yes.
bring it
Okay.
to bank.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna tell us to do with the cash, how you want that allocated and who you want to get credit for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Perhaps a little premature, but what Evelyn and Mary are suggesting about our team's 50-30-20 plan, the bottom line is we're allowed to reimburse ourselves prior to the event in a manner in which we see fit. We're not allowed to keep the money, but we're reimbursing ourselves for additional fundraising. At the event, 100% of everything we raise that day has to go to relay. There is no that's a practice and a policy that ACS has had. So we can't go, oh, I didn't reimburse Lisa for that case of water for the Bunko event. I'm going to do it at the event. ACS asks us not to do that at all. So that's part of wanting to know that and being able to plan and be financially smart with the money that's going to ACS.
And that is basically has a lot to do with the fact that our visitors that come to our event, we tell them we're raising money for American Cancer Society, and when we take that money and reimburse ourselves, it doesn't go to ACS, and we haven't been honest and truthful, and we try to remain honest and truthful. We want people to know they can trust the American Cancer Society, they can trust our relay, and they can trust us to do with the money what we said we were going to. So, yeah.
When is bank night?
Bank night, every captain's meeting is a bank night. Boot camps are not, but captain's meetings are.
When is the next one?
next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, and it's.
And every other Wednesday for 3 more meetings.
Right.
And the bank night counter is, the bank night counter
Oh, you just come over.
is downstairs when you walk in.
Yeah, the bank is downstairs.
Downstairs.
It's usually 1 or 2 bankers, and it's often the ACS relay partner or someone she's brought with her, and she's the banker, and it's down at the counter downstairs. So you can make them break them up.
We will never ever tell you on Facebook that it's a bank night. We really don't want to advertise to folks that we are probably going to have a lot of money sitting here. So you'll never see us. We might tell you in an email, but we try not to really put it out there because we don't really want to tempt folks that might be opportunists. So you'll never see a reminder on Facebook that it's a bank night. Just know that every captain's meeting, we just put it on YouTube, but every captain's meeting is a bank night.
This was cash tonight.
That would be strike 3 and we need 10.
Right.
And I've been gone for 2
Right.
weeks. So I did,
Yeah, next week,
next week,
next Wednesday.
at the same time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Actually, bank night
Half hour is
6
ahead.
6:30, they start banking at 6:30.
Come in half hour.
So you can come and not miss the
The
meeting.
leadership meeting is 5:30 to 6:30, so please don't be disappointed when somebody's not there at 6:30. They're getting there. They're in a meeting up here, and there's usually, you know, a bunch of questions after the meeting. So know that the bankers are getting down there as quickly as they can after the event leadership meeting. So getting back to the team accounting sheet, it's your tool to communicate with us. You keep that back page so that we can fix it when we misunderstood you.
Yeah, and feel free to email Chino Relay for Life or call Evelyn or me, and we can get those fixed for you.
Well, I'm gonna make cards before I leave, I'll make sure I give
Yeah.
it to you.
Oh, that'd be great.
In my case, it's better if you email us because I don't want to forget that you called me. If I have an email, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
delete
true.
it until I take care of it. And sometimes
point.
my phone doesn't tell me I have a voicemail, and I might not know for a week that you called if I didn't answer your call.
Okay, just email Chino Relay.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. Don't call me, I'm not reliable.
And I'm usually the one that'll probably fix it for you anyway, so.
Probably.
I'm the online chair, so yeah, it's either me or Julie at ATS. It's not her.
But I will speak very nicely to you and tell you we will get it fixed as soon as possible.
We.
And by we, I mean she. Yes.
$100 that you've been talking about, we have to have that in by what day?
July 1st.
Is it yeah,
No,
July
to be-
1st, but
to be-
July 1st online.
1st.
July 1st online, if you're gonna bank it, the one before that is June 24th, I believe is the last after. But you can do it on, you know, if they want to make an online donation by July 1st.
June 24th.
Is the last captain's meeting. You
For
have to-
offline banking.
For offline
Will be
banking.
the last time you have time to turn in money. And the July 1st is really just the drop dead date to be guaranteed the t-shirt. We are able to order a little bit extra, but those are first come, first served. So if you really like that t-shirt and really want the t-shirt, offline banking by June 24th, online banking by July 1st.
And this is the tool as to how it's going to be.
This is how
Each
you
person's
tell
gonna
us.
get the $100, is how you distribute it on this sheet.
Okay? And this is your proof that you told us to do it right
Yeah.
and that we oops. So,
You can always-
but yeah, make sure you keep those copies, okay? It's really
So in other
important.
words, if you want the shirt, you put the $100 on there and write shirt.
Well, no,
No,
once,
you automatically.
once that, the computer basically goes through on July 1st, the computer goes through, actually it'll probably be July 2nd, goes through and says, we have X amount of shirts in these sizes, go ahead and order, and then you can have whatever the percentage is, 5% over. You know, I don't know what the percentage is, I'm making that up, so whatever the percentage is over that we're allowed for folks that will bank $100.
Yeah, so
That's-
you'll automatically get the shirt if it's banked.
Yeah, they just know everybody that gets to 100 will get a t-shirt.
And the shirt size will be according to what they registered with.
Right.
So if they set a small and they're really medium, they're gonna get a small.
Right.
It's, you know, it's happened.
It's happened, it will happen.
It will happen.
Has happened, will happen. So, any questions on the team accounting sheet? This is probably, can be a source of grief and frustration, so we wanna, this is really a good communication tool from you to us, so we just wanna make sure that we get it right, and then just let us know if we didn't.
Those are what we use for the photo ones too, right? When we're turning in for the photo stuff, we use those ones.
And we did just get more photo packets in, so we'll have those available at the next captain's meeting. Team fundraisers at the day of the event. Please, may I beg if you don't do food. The problem we have had with food is we really don't want to get anybody sick. So we said at one point, okay, it has to be prepackaged. So then we had folks make burritos at home, wrap them in foil and bring them. But they still have to be temperature controlled or they're gonna make somebody sick. I understand you have 17 people on your team with a food handler's permit. Please don't do food. Unless, for your own team. Yeah, well, yeah, you can feed your own team. And we are gonna have some teams that do food. For example, the Lemon Heads have for years sold lemonade. That does not necessarily have to be temperature controlled to be viable. It doesn't taste very good warm, and fortunately they keep it ice cold, so it's really good. But it's not a matter of it's gonna make somebody sick. Dave's Brigade has done root beer floats for years. They are very good. They have a way to keep the ice cream frozen. Melted ice cream isn't gonna make you sick, it's just gonna go everywhere and make a mess. So, that's not a problem. What we are talking about is, you know, y'all have no idea what my kitchen looks like, right? No, have no idea. It's clean. I'm gonna tell you it's clean. It is, right? Mostly.
It's clean.
Yeah, it's clean. Mostly, right? I've been to my house. I could make you a batch of cookies and it'd probably be okay, right? Probably feel pretty safe. I have no idea what anybody else's kitchen looks like. No. Please don't make cookies at home. Because we don't know what the kitchen looks like. We did have a team that misunderstood us and was cooking food last year. And we had to ask them to stop. And fortunately, they were very apologetic. They just didn't understand that we couldn't do that. And they're all in this year, and they're participating, and it's great. but it makes for a very uncomfortable conversation that we have to have with teams when we say, you really can't do that. Now, there was one year that I did, we went to Walmart my very first year and bought cupcakes, and we sold cupcakes. And what I can tell you about that is don't put them anywhere near the bubble machine. Nope. We couldn't even give them away. So, something like that where it's been commercially packaged and it's full of preservatives and stuff your mother told you not to eat, probably okay. So,
But most people don't want sweets anyway.
they don't
No,
know,
we'll
it's
know
too hot.
that.
It's too hot.
Way too hot for cookies and cupcakes, and most people don't eat them anyway.
And people want to sell coffee in the morning, know that Starbucks is there for free, so chance of somebody buying a cup of coffee from you or going over to Starbucks and getting it for free, what would you do? So, raffles are always a fun thing. A lot of people do raffles, and if you've got some good raffle prizes, you'll do pretty well. There's a team that does the lap beads. You know, you can buy the
bead each time you make
yeah,
that.
yeah. You basically, I think they do it, set it up.
There's
as a-
two, because there's normally like
Yeah,
catty corner.
opposite ends of the track, that works out well. You buy the necklace part, and then each time you go around, the beads are there, you just grab a bead and add to, and then that's kind of a fun way to keep track of how many times you've been around.
I did the Anaheim a couple years ago, and they, every lap you got like a playing card, but they were free. But it all talked about cancer on the back, so as you're walking a lap, you're reading about another.
Oh, what a good idea.
Cool idea.
I don't know where they got it, but you read about some kind of cancer thing. Cancer.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was different.
If some of you participated last year, remember we had a poker lap as our themed lap.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a card every time you went around, and the
Yes.
best poker hand won. I have no idea who won. I
I
didn't
think
ever
we're
hear.
doing that again this year, too.
Yeah, I think
That was
It's
that's
sort of the
back.
same thing as
this year.
red.
Yeah, so they have event fundraisers. You can make craft projects and sell them. My team, we pre-purchase misters. And y'all will thank us later because you're probably gonna get wet from somebody that bought one. Sorry. Probably gonna happen.
Oh, misters, I
Yes,
didn't hear you.
yeah, yeah, we sell misters. And when it's hotter than blazes, they sell very well. So it's a successful fundraiser for us. Some people.
Unless it rains.
Yeah,
No.
that's so
It
odd.
was humid all
That's
day.
so
though.
odd.
No, not again, please.
No.
It was
Right?
nasty.
But the water guns went real good last year.
Yeah, yeah.
It
So,
didn't even
Mine
cool
don't like
down
it.
with the rain, it was still muggy.
It was muggier.
yeah, it was awful. Last year was awful, temperature wise. We had a great relay. I mean, people were, out
That was
laughing,
so
but
rare.
it
So
felt
rare.
so miserable. And about an hour before our Luminaria ceremony, we had just put the bags out. It started raining. So, yeah, it was, it never rains in California, certainly not in August, unless you were at Relay last year. It was awful. Anyway, that's done for like ever now.
Yeah,
It's never
it
gonna
is.
rain on our
Right.
Relay again. So, getting back to fundraisers at Relay, please don't do food. Please don't do food.
You'll hear us say that in captains many times
Yes.
too.
Plus, you want us to put on the list. You wanted to know what we're doing.
We
don't
do
you?
want to know what
Right.
you're doing because we want to help everybody be as successful as we can. And if everybody does lemonade, nobody's going to be successful. So,
Or Jamba Juice.
yes, I think we had 4 or 5 Jamba Juices last year. People got awful cranky about that, but some folks didn't tell us they were doing that.
Right.
And they showed up with it, and we could have tried to mitigate some of that and maybe, draw on straws or something to figure out who was going to do Jamba Juice and who was going to come up with something else. So that's why it's important to communicate with us.
Question, when do we know where our booth is going?
You will find out the Friday before Relay. We have campsite selection. And how we do that, there's like 5 different categories of how we do that. And we'll talk about that, I think it's coming
The
up
last-
later.
well-
Well, we talk about how we do it before the last one.
Right.
But we will tell you at the last captain's meeting which category you're in.
And when to show up. to pick your
Generally,
campsite.
And never get this in order unless I have it in front of me, and I don't, so it's probably not accurate 100%, but generally, first priority of campsite selection is leadership team members that have jobs the day of relay. So for example, our survivor chair needs to be close to the survivor tent. So she will have opportunity to go choose her campsite so she can choose one close to what it is her assignment is for the day. Our Luminaria chair, her campsite needs to be close to Luminaria so that she can handle both her campsite and Luminaria. So we have folks on the leadership team that have jobs day of. That's priority number one, because they have stuff they have to do, and we need to make it as easy as possible for them to do their job. I can't remember what order they go in. Another category is
The next one, committee.
I don't remember.
I think it's committee. And then it's last team standing.
It is committee and then it's last time.
Okay.
I think it's committee, last team standing.
So after the folks that have jobs day of, the leadership team will then have an opportunity to choose their campsites based on what it is that they've got to do that day as well too, and in appreciation for the fact that they've been meeting since January to put this whole thing together. God bless you. Last team standing is highly competitive. What it is if your team is still standing at 9 a.m. and we have a whole handout, it's not out yet, but it'll come out at a captain's meeting of what last team standing means, what we expect from you to be considered last team standing. We start going around about 6 o'clock in the morning, and as you start taking your campsite down, we're making notes. And we know who's
No,
going
we're
down.
not making notes, we're just crossing you off the list. That's what we're doing.
I wasn't going to be quite so
No.
bold, but that's what we do.
Truth. You're not, yep, you're
So,
done.
Some people start packing it in at 6 o'clock and go home. You still got 3 more hours left of relay, so we want to reward the folks that stay. So everybody that qualifies as last team standing goes in a lottery for priority campsite selection the following year. And so we did that last year, we already know who's in it, we know who the last team standing is.
And believe it or not, even with the rain last year, we had over 30 teams still up last team standing. Yeah, so they'll be in the next level. We'll have a lottery to see what order they go in. So we have committee with job, committee,
Last team
last team standing.
And then,
I think it's just
no, we have the.
one more, don't we?
2 more.
One more beside registration.
Yeah, there's, we'll announce the date, and I don't have it in front of me, but the date, there's a cutoff date. If everybody on your team has raised an average of $100 each, so if you have 25 people on your team, if your team has raised $2,500, you will go in this lottery for higher priority campsite selection, and that's the next category. And then our last category is teams in order of registration. So
Everybody
if you
that's
don't
left.
qualify for any of these other categories, you're in the last category, and it's by order of registration. That make sense?
Yes, it does. Another question, because we're like a little, well, we're new, of course, to this, but we're a little confused on how we get our team members.
Okay, what I would recommend is that you watch last week's video. That's what we talked about, was team building. And we can talk with you afterwards too on ideas and what you can do
If you
to
can stay
help
or
build your team.
stay a
Yeah,
few
we'll
minutes,
talk
we can talk.
about we'll give you some suggestions.
Yep.
Okay? You're welcome. So, how and when to bank money at, well,
At the event.
yeah. Decide in advance what we already talked about, decide in advance what you want that team fundraiser to be the day of. You may sell things, you may do raffles, you may do games.
If you do a game like what we do, you give little prizes at the end.
Arsalan, you want to talk about how it is to do a game?
If they don't give up casino, we don't say anything.
Come on, Arsalan.
We tried games a couple of different ways. The year before, we just had like giving out gifts for everybody who participated, whether they win or not. Mostly it's like kids that were in there. So everybody who played got a little gift, and if you win something, you scored something, then you get a bigger gift with it. Last year we tried doing raffle tickets, so you can collect like Chuck E. Cheese style. You can collect as many, and then you go to the counter, and then you pick a gift. We had like 5 different buckets, and you can pick small 5 things or one big thing, or however many tickets you have. So you can do different ways of.
So what do you say, $1 to play, or what is it? Or it's just
Generally, I mean, you can set your own price, but, you know, I like to say it's fast nickels instead of slow dimes. If you make it $5, you're gonna have fewer people that will play.
Right.
Or if you do $1,
You can start, gauge the crowd, right? You start high, and then if you're not getting as much bites as you like, you can. We usually try to use a whiteboard so we can change the price.
Right, okay.
So as the days going by and you still have a lot of gifts sitting over there, you might want to lower your price. Try
It's
to
just
move
like
some-
yard sale.
Yeah.
Yard sale's over at 3, you still got a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Right.
You lower the price.
everything goes on sale.
Yep.
So you can do multiple stuff like raffle off like baskets and then do a game also.
Absolutely.
You bet. You can do whatever you
can
want.
sell something and have a raffle.
Keep it legal, but you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's not food.
Just remembering it's family friendly.
Right, right.
Yep.
Okay, so, and then don't forget you need to schedule people to work your fundraiser. If you're gonna be selling stuff or holding games or doing raffles, somebody's gotta be at the table on the counter to take people's money so they can participate in your fundraiser. I strongly recommend you bring cash to use for change. That, of course, is not part of the money that comes in. You're bringing that so that you have that available for change that can go home with you.
Unless, of course, they use that from other fundraisers.
Right, and yeah. if
Like
you're-
the money we're doing
Right.
to fund our casino night, if we don't spend all that, that goes back to
Right, right.
ACS.
Yeah.
So it depends on where your money's coming from.
And we keep rolling that 20% forward to be able to pay for the next fundraiser. Till we get to the day of the event, there are no more fundraisers, and we bank all that.
Right.
So, okay. The bank will be a campsite-ish. It is not on the track, it's generally off the track. Remember, only captains can bank. We just don't want anybody running with a bag of money that could be sidetracked or, particularly some of the kids. We don't, it's great to have runners like that, but please don't do that with the money. We've been working with you guys as we go along, and so we really just prefer that the captains take the responsibility for banking the money. If you didn't catch us at the last meeting, we have in the past been able to hand out more than one captain's shirt. It will not be that way this year. There is one shirt per team for the captain this year. So you can, if you want to, share that shirt, take it, just grab it with you when you go to the bank. Am I gonna tell you they're not gonna take your money without a captain's shirt? Of course they're gonna take your money without a captain's shirt. But that's what we're asking you to do. So if you would help us with that, we would be great. Generally, at the event, the bank closes at midnight. And we are running to the bank, by we, I mean our staff partner is generally running to the bank several times during the day. We don't want any, that much money laying around. A lot of it is done in cash day of. So she's running to the bank several times and making deposits for us. So the bank closes at midnight so we can get a tally for the next morning. It will open up again at 6 a.m., but that will not count towards your total. We don't have time to get that recounted into the total for what we have in the morning. And a lot of times we have unofficial totals that we will announce at relay and then at wrap up. You of course can still bank money at wrap up, but we wrap up will have a much better accurate.
What time do you stop selling?
That
doing your
is
games?
entirely up to you. A lot of teams will stop at 9 o'clock because that's when Luminaria starts. That's generally what we do. What we have, we stop selling it at 9 o'clock. Some people will start up again. Some of the teams do the light up toys for the kids, and that's fun to have at night, so they'll continue selling those. We ask that you not sell during Luminaria, that everybody just goes, quiet and dark and as dark as you can, because light up toys are kind of hard to keep quiet, but during Luminaria, that's generally, and it's each team decides what they want to do. And then the bank will open up again at 6 a.m. So if you
But
continue
I
selling,
think they're only open for an hour or so.
about that, yeah.
6
then
a.m.
we have
I
to
think
get
it's
ready
usually
for,
6 to 7.
we have to get ready for closing ceremonies. So
Right.
there is an opportunity, if you keep selling throughout the night, there is an opportunity to bank that in the morning.
But again, we do have a wrap-up for those that don't know what it is, like 2 weeks after relay is done. We invite all the captains in to give us their, to say, hey, we did a great job, how can we improve, that kind of thing. And that is also a bank night. So you can still bank more money then.
Anything we get turned in by August 31st goes to this year's relay, and that's the end of our fiscal year. So if it comes in after August 1st, it will be counted towards the next year.
August 31st.
31st, yes. I say first.
Well, you said 31 and then you said 1.
September 1st.
Well, because that, oh, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that night is the first, and then the
Yeah.
31st, your final.
Right.
Right. So,
Yep.
know that if you raise $100, everybody that raises at least $100 will get a shirt. Have that in by July 1st to be guaranteed the shirt. Don't forget we have the porta potty contest. So for every $500 that a team raises, they get an entry into the raffle. We'll pull that raffle at opening ceremonies, and we'll find out who wins the porta potty.
We already talked about campsite selection.
Yeah, and you know how the campsite selection lottery works with what we're talking about there is if you have 25 people, you raise 2,500, at least $100 per average team member, then you go into the lottery for priority campsite selection. And then don't forget, ACS also has the individual incentive prizes that you can get, and those are always fun to go shop for and shoot for and try to figure out what you want. And now we're going to turn our attention to Lisa and Jake in our faux campsite.
Stage 3.
Stage 3.
What is the difference?
I'm filling in today. So this is a mock campsite. All we added today was more decoration. That's one of the main components. It's basic, but you don't have to be this, I don't want to say extravagant, but
Decorative.
decorative, there you go. It's pretty much just a basic setup. You have your information, your mission statement, your fight back moment. We're supposed to have little blocks right here. This is a game for the campsite. We have our tent right here, which is not mandatory, but some people do have it for naps, for storage, for things like that, anything you want to use it for. We have the ice chest right here. If you want to bring your team drinks, depending on what you're doing, if you're keeping, anything cold in there, you guys have the option to do that. And pretty much that explains this one.
Yeah, so if you've been here since the beginning, you've seen our campsite grow a little bit each week.
Each meeting.
Each meeting. So what we're trying to display for you is just the different stages of campsite that you can do. If it's easy up, chairs, tables, and that's what it is, that's what it is. That's fine. Don't sweat it. If that's what you can do, that's what you can do. Life happens. And we would rather you show up and have a good time than kill yourselves trying to do it all. It's just, that's not what we're about. That's not what we want to be about. So we'd rather have your cheerful participation than your I don't ever want to do this again ending with trying to do it all. So it's it's up to you. It's what your team can do.
I don't know what they're going to add next week, but it'll be fun to see.
Right? And next week we get to celebrate surviving boot camp, so we're going to have cake when we're done.
Space, how much space is given to each?
Generally, a campsite is about 20 by 30. I will tell you that if you are on an outside campsite, your campsite is 20 wide by 30 deep. But if you don't have anybody behind you, you can go back as far as you want till you hit the street. And then that's a bad idea.
And if you're planning on having a generator for any reason, you have to be on the outside
Right.
of the track.
That's what I was gonna mention, we're at 8 o'clock. Food-wise, if you want to bring food to feed your own team, you are welcome to do that. We have one of our guys on our team is a taco guy. He comes in and he does tacos for us and he feeds us for dinner, and it's great and it smells great, and as much as you ask me, I cannot share with you unless you want to join my team. So
Can we hire him to do it and he can split the profits with your team?
that's cute, right? He might do it.
I
He
know,
might.
well,
I'm not telling you who he is, but he might. But yeah, I mean, you could do that too. I mean, we have a pizza place that's bringing us pizzas for lunch. And you can share that with another team, you know, if you have more than you can use, or we work pretty well with the number twos and we share stuff like that too. So that you're certainly welcome to do that.
You can't have charcoal.
No, charcoal representative will be here the last captain's meeting, explain all that. And you have to go by what they say. They know far more than I do about what is what. So those are the options. But you are, as much as I say, please don't sell food, you are welcome to feed your own team. And I believe they are working on having food trucks there this year. So I don't know how far they've gotten on that, but I believe they are planning on having food trucks. So that
if we hear anything, we'll share it in the captain's meeting.
And I believe the ATM is coming back this year as well.
Oh, good.
So,
That'll keep people in too.
yeah. Yeah, what we like to do is have people not leave, because chances are if they leave, they may not come back.
Right.
So, unless you're a team member, then you have to come back. All right, any questions? We are.
What are you doing for casino night again?
What was that? You want to know
What are you
that?
doing for casino night?
It's July 11th.
Be there every square.
Yeah, I'll be selling tickets as soon as we get those tickets printed.
Oh, casino night?
Yeah, I had to answer the question.
Do you know
Of
the
course
cost?
I wanted to know details so I could know if I can make it.
That's not on your flyer.
Yeah, are we doing 20?
It doesn't say the date, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
Just doesn't have the price.
Like the,
Oh, we haven't.
they decided yet,
So
okay.
I'm thinking early birthdays.
Okay.
Right, yeah, so, don't buy your tickets from Anne or Mary, buy your tickets from me.
She's made her, forget that. Me, over here.
You like leave this whole thing out.
We're not the least bit competitive, are we?
No.
But I can't buy tickets if I don't know what it is. You got to tell. You got to detail.
Yeah, we haven't said it yet.
Okay, we'll know maybe next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's said, it's just not on the flyer yet, but it-
Do we know how much it is?
yeah, it's
Well,
gonna be,
then tell them.
it's gonna be
$20.
$20 a ticket. But there will be buy-ins throughout the evening.
Right.
yeah, additional buy-ins.
And we'll have silent auction, and we'll have food.
And we'll include
And
some
we'll
kind
have
of food,
DJ.
which we don't know what
It's
it
a
is.
great
It might be a
deal.
taco guy, so you might be able to talk from there.
That could happen. All right, we've gone 3 minutes over, so I owe you 3 minutes. I'll give you cake next week instead. So,
Right.
thank you all for coming, we appreciate it, we really enjoy, these are kind of, I can't say this, son, you could turn the camera off now. We like these meetings, because it's great to get to know you guys one-on-one. When we're in the captain's meetings, there's so many people, I'm like, I don't know who that is. So I really enjoy the opportunity to get to know you guys a little bit better, so that when I see you around the track, I can actually say, hey, Lisa, how are you? Or, hey, Lisa, how are you? Or, hey, Lisa, how are you?
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, I heard her say that.
That's fun.
That's the only name you have to remember, right?
So next week, we have our regular captain's meeting. The week after, we have our last boot camp.
Oh.
All right, everybody have a great night. If you have questions, we're here. Thank you very
want to
much.
talk to us, right?